So hello, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed watching other people's videos, and I hope you enjoy watching my video. This video, I really want to talk about assessments and what I'm seeing in my internship. So my internship, to give another short recap, I'm doing it at an assisted living facility that definitely focuses more on the medical side of assisted living. And so within this, we have one assessment that we're really given. I mean, there's the PASAR and the COLS, but those are done at the hospital and or by our skilled nurses. We as social workers are given one assessment to do, and this assessment has three parts. You have the first part, which asks background information, living environment, did you have a walker, that sort of a deal. The second one is a BIMS test, which is basically studying cognitive things or trying to assess cognitive impairment. And the last one is all about your mood, how you're feeling, and it'll ask quite a few questions. Now, the thing with this assessment is I don't think this assessment is tailored to the general population that we have. I think this is a very generalized assessment. It could do equally as well in, let's say, a psychiatric facility down in Alabama. But for this particular population, there's a certain area of the tests where we have to ask them, in the last 2 weeks, have you felt down, depressed, or hopeless? If they answer yes to that, we immediately have to ignore the other questions. Skip to the end question, which is, have you ever had thoughts that you'd be better off dead or that you should hurt yourself in some way? Now, for the people that we have in the facility, most of them are elderly and most of them have been living in and around Vermont, which means they are the Ritz cracker breed of white people in that they are probably more often than not Catholic and or Baptist. You get one or two flavors up here. Saltine Ritz, that's what you get. I can joke about that because I'm white. Now, within either religion, suicide is not looked kindly upon in any religion, but particularly in the Catholic religion, it is seen as a sin. To admit that to somebody you don't know and that you're suspicious of is a really hard struggle for a lot of our clients. And the reason I bring this up is there's also the issue of, when we do the assessment, there's the issue of we can't do the assessment if a roommate's in the room with the client, right? Makes sense. We don't want to give out information to the roommate. We can do the assessment if a family member or friend is in there, but that can also lead to some really awkward situations. So, for instance, I was doing this assessment with this gentleman. I asked him, hey, have you ever felt, not like this, but after going through the form, I was like, have you ever felt down, depressed, or hopeless? He said yes. He said it was because his daughter had died not too long ago, and also he had MS, which was, basically eating away at his ability to move around. So I skipped to the end of it. I was like, okay, since you said yes to that, I have to ask you, have you ever had thoughts that you'd be better off dead or hurting yourself in some way? And he stopped. He looked at his wife. The reason I do this is because she introduced herself to us initially as his case manager and then as his wife. And then after we'd done the assessment and plugged everything in, she came into the office and told us she wasn't actually his wife. She was just his girlfriend of 11 years, and they lived in separate houses and they didn't mix finances. And I'm like, so why'd you tell us you were his wife? But on the inside, not out loud. Anyway, back to the scenario. So he glances over at his wife and he goes, no, I haven't. And she pipes up immediately afterwards, and because she goes, good, because if you'd said that you did, I would have killed you myself. Now, granted, this is kind of supposed to be a half joke, but this did not stop me from giving the wide crazy eyes to my on-site supervisor of is that something we should write down or something, because it's it's a little bit weird in my mind. But it's just with the assessment, it doesn't take into account religious preferences. It doesn't take into account the fact that the people we're practicing on, 50 to 75% of them just can't hear what we're saying unless we're screaming the assessment at them. And the assessment also just doesn't take into account the potential danger either emotional or physical, that we could place the client in, because the family member is now privy to the fact that the family member has, you know, felt various feelings or been experiencing various things. It's just like some of the policies around the assessment and the assessment itself, I find, fall short of what it needs to be in order to be effective. Basically, what I want to say is, I think we could do another assessment. I think we could craft a better assessment. I think a lot of the questions on our assessment that we have to do are very poorly worded for the population we're doing. That being said, that's my video. Hope you like watching it. I hope it was short. I'm gonna try and be better about editing these down, because I know I have the propensity to natter on. Besides the point, I hope this was informative, just as an explanation of what's going on in my internship, and I hope it was, you know, good to watch. Stay safe, don't do drugs. I don't know what else to tell you.